Hey, man.
What's up, dude?
No, I just,
I like your. Is that eye makeup? Or is that a
yeah,
shadow?
man. No, man. It's eye makeup, but I got it tattooed on. Like, I'm like one of those real high housewives of California that get their like eyebrows tattooed on their face.
You kind of what's that? There's a raccoon that wears like a bandana, and he's a bad guy. Like he's a criminal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. He's a bad raccoon. Yeah, that's me.
Yeah, man. I wish you had a light bulb right now, and I could just go dun
Right. Yeah, I do look like a.
It's fucking awesome,
Oh
man.
man, I look like a. If Uncle Fester fucked an auto mechanic, and I'm their son.
That's
You know.
right. Oh hell yeah! You work on the Dragula.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Man. So what's up, man? How's it going, Tony G? How you doing?
I'm good, Alex Rios.
Yeah. Well, I was saying that to you. Next to your picture, it just says Tony G. So I was like,
Oh, I know,
I
and
just
yours
read
says
your name off.
Alex Rios.
So
You got
yeah,
your own little name tag.
yeah, man.
Do we even
So yeah, hey,
need to tell people what we're doing and what show this is? They know, right? I mean,
we don't need to, but I mean,
I
I feel like I feel like it's a habit.
well, I mean, this is the future,
Unfortunately, this is it.
right? I mean, this
Yeah,
really this is it, man. That this is the best that with technology could come up with.
right.
I mean, you think
Like,
Bill
and
Gates is a smart guy? I mean, he could do better. I should be able to get in your room right now. I should be able to climb through your screen and hang out.
I
You
know.
know, maybe when 5G gets here.
Yeah, I mean, we should be able to like reach over and give each other a tug job, and like 3D tug job, baby. Tug it out.
Yeah, I could
Yeah, I mean,
take
like,
my pecker, but I can't come visit you through the internet.
I mean, yeah. Speaking of that, if you watch this show and you think that the quality is poor, you're right. It is. But there are other ways to make it, and we do know how. But it costs a lot of money, and we are poor. I am unemployed, so um, this
And
is what we're working
I
with.
make as much as he does while he's on unemployment. So,
Right. Right.
so
So
we're
just
fucked.
at the
We're not paying for
fuck
any of
yeah,
this shit. I just want you
yeah,
cats to understand, like, we really enjoy doing this. Anything that we can do without spending any more money, just pens and paper, we're good. But
hmm
this is it, man. 3,000
this
miles
is it,
apart.
baby.
I can't figure a better way for us to communicate. So
Right.
here it is. Once again, the future, kids. The
That's right.
future.
Yeah.
How you doing over
But
there, man? How's the smoke treating you? You guys okay? I'm actually nervous and concerned because
right.
I have
It's
more than I have people out there.
it's pretty fucking crazy, man. It looks like fucking Mad Max outside right now. Like the
I mean, I've only
skies.
seen pictures of orange skies.
Yeah. It's fucking the sky's yellow and brown. And oh man, yeah. Hey, before we talk about anything, you're right. We got a tradition to uphold, and you don't have any beer in the house because you haven't been home, and no one's left any free beer. So you decided to pull out a Dr. Seuss penis and a cold Dr. Seuss penis.
I was
It's so
digging the
weird to
story,
talk to you.
man. It made me want to eat a popsicle. I was like,
Yeah, you wanted to cool some shit down. So
That's
you
hot.
got a popsicle, but I follow tradition, Tony. God damn it, and I got a goddamn beer. So
Yeah, I want a goddamn beer. If I had a beer popsicle, I'd be licking it.
this is the beer I'm drinking. It is Everybody's Brewing prickly pear sour. Prickly pear sour.
How is
It's a
it for a
sour beer.
sour? Is it good?
It's good. Yeah, I'm just getting into sours. Sours, I don't know, like you've noticed, and anyone that's the 2.5 people that watch this show, I don't know if you've noticed, but I usually just drink shit beer, like PBR to Heineken to High Life, shit like that. That's my MO. But like I don't know, decided to treat myself with a nice sour.
Fuck, man. I'm actually, of all the beers, sours are my favorite. Fruited sours are really good, especially in the fucking
They're good.
summer. But how is it? Does
Yeah.
it taste like pear?
Yeah. Yeah, it does. It has a fruit kick. It's kind of it's a little salty in a good way, and it's got like a real fucking stank on the end of it. Like when you swallow it, you're like, that was some fucking pear. God damn it! Like that. It tastes like someone just kicked a pear down your throat. You know, it's
Yeah,
fucking
you ever
good.
notice how when they make beer with fruit in it, it's never like you always describe it as like dirty fruit or like like
Yeah,
fucked with it in the wrong way or as an abused pear. It's never like this is a really pleasant tasting pear. Like no, this is
yeah,
beer and fruit smashed together. It tastes like child abuse and an apple. Like the fuck.
yeah. I know, right? It's not like herbal essence when there's a bunch of beautiful supermodels shaving their legs and there's kiwis everywhere and like fucking strawberries falling from the beautiful sunny sky. It's like someone put on a dirty soccer cleat, punch you in the back of the head, piss on your like mother's grave, and kick the pear down your throat. That's what this tastes like, and it's delicious. I love it.
They didn't have enough room to write all in the can, but that's what happened. I
Yeah,
kind
so they just so they just put a picture of a cactus and wrote the word sour. They're like, you're gonna feel a little sour after this.
of I kind of picture them making these beers in like Willy Wonka's factory. Like it really doesn't make any sense. Like you're in
Yeah,
there, and you're like, why are you throwing dirt in there? Be like, well, because it's a dirty pear. Be like, what the fuck, man? Why are you riding a bike right now and stirring beer? It's just fucking weird. That's just how I picture. I picture like Willy
that's how
Wonka's
you picture it,
inventing room.
right? Yeah, man, I think you're. I can see that. I can see that, but it's like it's not a bunch of Oompa Loompas. It's like a bunch of fucking like just dirty, white trash men with their sleeves cut off and like mohawks and like bones through their nose.
Right. And then the one dude who had to get married or is married and she does the art. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, a real nice lady.
Fuck yeah, but she'll punch you in the eye, man. Don't get her drunk.
Right? Yeah.
That's the woman.
My kind of gal. My kind of gal.
My kind of beer. You already burped. It was like one swig.
I know, right?
Fucking pears, man.
Well, I already had one open, but for the effect of our crazy production that we have, I opened the second one, put that aside, and I'm finishing my first one.
Well, I only have one popsicle. I have to go get another one. So,
Yeah, man. Production secrets, man.
hey, I just want people to know this is a good fucking popsicle. And the
Yeah,
sad
well,
thing is, the last couple of weeks, the beers that I've had have been the things that my lady left here, and the popsicles that I've had, things that my lady left here. So if I didn't have a lady, I'd be licking my fucking feet right now and drinking water because I wouldn't have anything. So thanks, lady. Appreciate it.
thanks, lady. Yeah. The
You can't be too nice to them, man. They'll leave you. I learned that. You can't be too nice.
what is this? The '60s?
Yeah, man. You gotta slap them around a little. No, I'm kidding. I'm fucking kidding. I don't do that. Never have. Don't fucking do that.
Jesus.
No, man. You gotta upset people once in a while. You gotta make them think that it's not all great yet. There's still something to work for. That's what relationships are all about. Like you're a bitch. Like yeah.
Yeah. I think. I mean, I would say. I could see that. I mean, a little bit like because if everything's always rosy and bright, colorful rainbows, and people always hugging puppies every day, something little happens, it's going to be a big fucking deal.
Yeah,
so,
or you guys will get bored and then you end up married because there's nothing else to do in the relationship, and you don't want to do that.
Right.
So you just keep saying, no, we got to work on each other. You still suck and you have big ankles. So until you fix that, I can't.
Is that what you would say to me? Because I have huge ankles.
No, actually, I've been on this.
You remember my ankles? I have huge ankles. I mean, you remember my ankles? Yeah, man. I got like big. I'm like I'm not super. I'm not like I weigh 260. I'm not like ginormously fat, but I'm a large mammal. I have big fucking legs, big legs. I don't have cankles, but I have like big calves that lead down to big ankles.
Yeah, you're a stout fellow with strong axles on your big vehicle there. You big monster.
And the left ankle's bigger than the right ankle because when I was like fresh out of high school, I broke my ankle and then didn't go to the doctor, so it healed weird.
Makes this
So
weird clicking sound.
yeah, it hurts sometimes, and it's kind of weirdly soft, but kind of hard. It's like gushy and weird at the same time. It's very weird.
This sounds like a conversation that I have with most women when I first see their boobs, and they're like,
Yeah.
"Don't judge me. One's bigger than the other." And then you're like, "Really? Like I thought I just had one shoe on. Like I didn't, I thought you were fine. I don't know.
Yeah.
Every woman
Well,
thinks they have uneven boobs. I don't get it. Ankles, I get. You didn't take care of one ankle. Now that one's, I can understand that, but I
right.
don't understood the boob thing. And if it is, maybe one's just trying to encourage the other one. Hey, keep going to the gym, and one day you'll be as big as I am. I
Right.
mean, it works for me. That's why I go to the gym. And then when everyone sees me, they say, "Keep trying, little guy," and I do. I keep coming back. So
It's
maybe
kind of like when someone sees both my penises for the first time. They're always like, "One's bigger than the other," and I'm like, "Yeah, that's big and bigger." So yeah, you're welcome.
you're the fucking. But I mean, you're the DP king. So of course you have two penises. How else could you do it?
Big. No, it's more like tiny and pathetic.
Oh, it wouldn't be an episode without some mentions of penises. Um, I wanted to point
Yeah,
something
man.
out. I saw a Gilbert Godfrey documentary called Gilbert. You probably know I'm a
Hmm.
fan. Um, he with his woman, and these are my relationship goals. With his woman, he would send her like romantic cards, like blah blah blah, and he'd be like, "Go fuck yourself, Gilbert," like around what it said. So be nice and
Yeah.
romantic, and he'd be like, "Go fuck yourself 1,000 times, Gilbert." Like that's the kind of, and she kept the cards and was reading them on the show. I'm like, that's the kind of shit I need. That's why I live on the East Coast where people put each other down to bring them up. I mean, it's like that's the point. You're a piece of shit. They're like, no, I'm not. Exactly. Now move on. Like that's good. It's how it works here. It's all sarcasm. So I kind of
Hmm.
miss that out west. It's like, hey Tony, how you doing? I go fuck yourself. Like, I think Tony's in a bad mood. Like, no, man, he's stoked. He just told you go fuck yourself. He could have hugged you and kissed you. It'd have been the same thing.
Right.
But here it's like tell someone go fuck yourself. Like, what are you trying to marry me? Stop being weird. Like, all right, fine. It's a complete opposite. That's all I'm saying, folks.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
anyway, how the fuck?
every,
So other than the smoke, I mean, everybody. I mean, is shit all right? Because the news don't know. I mean,
well, I'll tell you what we're going through. Okay, so different towns around and counties around Portland have been and going into different levels of evacuation. Um, Clackamas County and Estacada,
mm-hmm.
Oregon. Estacada, I could be wrong, but I think it's about 40 minutes away from Portland. Maybe a little shorter, maybe a little longer. And Clackamas County is just, it's right. It's basically Portland, just a different county. It's close. And they half of Clackamas County and most of Estacada is burned to the ground for the most part. People have lost their homes, like people that live in the town, like in the
In Clackamas?
town center, like yeah, have their like people that live like downtown Estacada have had some of their houses burned down. People have lost their lives. Like I think I saw something that like 10 people have died and 22 are missing. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but those numbers are somewhere correct, somewhat correct. And Corbett is a little town, excuse me, about 15, 20 minutes away from where I live, near the airport. And it had some fires on Thursday or Friday. A lot of it burnt up. So Estacada and Clackamas County are all on stage 3. Stage 3 means get the fuck out, evacuate, run for the hills. Like you gotta go. The stage 1 is pack your shit. Stage 2 is get ready to go, and stage 3 is go. So, Clackamas County, Estacada, stage 3. Lake Oswego was in stage 2, the last I heard. Corbett, I don't think they were in any stage where they had fire, and all the passes were closed. The 26 Sandy Ann Pass were all closed due to fire and smoke. And then on the coast, like Lincoln City and other little counties around Lincoln City, like real close by, Tillamook and stuff like that, a lot were in stage 3. And I saw pictures of the actual, like on the beach, and the sky was fucking red. Like it was fucking scary looking. Like it was like basically Lincoln City, I would say, is in stage 3, most of it. And a lot of it got burned up pretty bad too. So, and there's a lot of fires in Washington, like right off the border, like between like a little past Vancouver, Washington, which if you don't know, Vancouver is like the first like town between right when you leave Portland, like, and you go
you
towards
can take
Washington.
the rail from Portland to Vancouver.
Yeah.
So yeah,
It's basically a suburb of Portland,
northern
yeah.
suburb located in Washington, of Portland. Yeah.
But it's Washington. So things were really fucking hairy here. Although Portland hasn't gone into stage 1 yet, the smoke is very thick. And the last couple of days, like the 13th, the 14th, the 13th, and the 12th, all had hazardous air, meaning it was beyond unhealthy, like completely toxic. That's what the level said, toxic. Today was just it said on the index it was unhealthy for sensitive groups. So if you have like a lung condition or something like that, don't go the fuck outside. But I have to walk the goddamn dog. She's a blue heeler. If you don't fucking walk her, she starts spinning in circles and chasing her tail. Like she tries to rip the fucking thing off. So you got to take her outside. So I'm wearing a mask to walk around the block. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I have a mask with a fucking filter in it just to take the dog pee. And if I don't wear that mask, I come back inside and I start coughing. My throat is burning. My eyes are already burning because I don't have a mask for my eyes. I just,
Oh shit.
like it's bad outside. It's no joke.
Wow,
it's
man.
fucking bad. Like it's literally Mad Max outside. It's the whole. Not even looking at the sky, just looking straight out. It's yellow. It's fucking orange yellow haze. Smoky as fuck. So I know it's kind of went on a little tirade about it, but
no way. I'm not. I don't have any. I just want to say, like, I'm glad you fucking said all that. I don't give a. We're not looking for funny right here. Just
yeah.
Fucking update, because the show is about shit after COVID and this is the future since then. My man sitting over here going through every year since I've been paying attention. The fires have been getting worse, but this year is fucking way. No one saw this coming, and my daughter lives out there, about an hour and a half, 2 hours south of you, and she's 15, and she says she's cool. So whatever the fuck that means, she's still responding. You know what I mean? But so I have a vested stake in you and other people. So there's nothing fucking funny about this. It's just amazing to hear that you walk out of your fucking house right now and you have to wear a mask with a filter to walk your dog. I mean, Jesus Christ, we're already worried about a pandemic, a fucking riot, 100 days, 100+ days of that shit, and now this. It's just I can't even talk. I don't know what to say anymore. It's like, oh my god.
Well, I mean, like, I was trying to put it in be real with myself the other day. I was like I call it Civil War II is basically what's happening. Especially in the town I live in, the feds and the police are fucked up. We don't need to go into that because we already did, but it is fucked up the way they're treating the people that live in their city. So it's like basically fucking Civil War II. So there's that. The economy is not fucking good right now.
No.
It's very bad. So there's those two things, and then there's a, a pandemic. You know what that means? It means the whole world's fucking sick. The whole world
Right.
sick. Like, yeah, whether not you believe it or not, there's something going on, right? I choose to believe it. I see people sick. I know people that have been sick. You know, it's happening. And then the West Coast, not just Oregon.
The whole
Fucking,
fucking West Coast.
I saw a video of the Bay Area the other day. It had the Oakland Bridge, and then behind that bridge was Oakland, and it was on fire. You could see the flames, fucking like people's lives. People like were burning up. Like Oakland, like the Bay's on fire, and then like you keep on going towards Oregon, all that shit's on fire. Like, and then Washington. So all of West Coast, Northwest is on fire right now. So there's like 4 major things going on. That's just like shit's getting real, like
Yeah,
kind of why. Yeah.
like beyond, and here's to tie into that. That's true chaos, right? You guys are
Mm-hmm.
that's to me that's chaos. So I go on a fucking road trip this weekend. Straight out of the house, wanted to go to an amusement park 9 hours away. So we slept in the car, down and dirty, got it done. First stop. Now keep in mind I live in a city. So first stop is like 3 hours out of here, Western Pennsylvania. We go to a rest area. And on turnpikes around here, you pay for the interstate on a turnpike. If y'all don't know what that is, you pay. When you pay, there's rest areas that are a part of the interstate system. You don't get an exit and go into a town. You just exit right there off the interstate, off the turnpike. So this was like owned by the turnpike. So it means the state mandate, the governor, all that shit. These guys are under those rules. So I go in there, I'm walking in, I put my mask on, all that bullshit. I look inside, and half the people aren't wearing masks. So I'm like, what the fuck's going on here? The employee's not wearing one. The truckers in there aren't wearing them. I'm like, so I read the sign, and the sign says, if you're not wearing a mask, we assume that you have a medical condition. And it just says, we care about your safety. That's it. So I walk in there, and no one's wearing one. Like, there was one person that was wearing one besides me. And I started to feel bad that I had a mask on. You're like, fuck, am I wrong? And so I didn't, I was grumpy. I was being Tony G. So I was like mumbling through my mask, fucking idiot, shit like that, and not acknowledging it. So long story short, I didn't say shit. Just got back in the car, asked my lady what the fuck that was all about. We get to Ohio, and the next morning I go to a gas station, same sign, different state. I'm like, the fuck? And I go in there, and there's like 17 rednecks in there getting fucking quick shit biscuits or whatever you call. And only people that are wearing masks are the employees. So obviously the businesses are still following the rules.
Right.
So my lady's getting coffee because she needs her thing. I don't need that shit. So I'm over there buying donuts so I have a reason to live. And I see this big tall redneck talking to my lady. So I'm like, cool. Well, he's not wearing a fucking mask. And so I'm like, hey man, excuse me. Hey man, excuse me. Like, we're not from around here. What's going on with the masks? Why isn't anyone wearing one? Did they drop the mandate, or did y'all just say fuck it? That's pretty much verbatim what came out of my mouth. And my lady heard everything I said. So in any case, this big tall, just picture one of those dudes from Dumb and Dumber, like the sea bass.
Yeah, I just watched that. Yeah.
There you go. Picture
that
sea
fucking
bass.
guy.
Now, yeah, there you go. That's sea bass. So he's talking to my lady. I say this shit to him. And apparently, he said something to me, but I didn't hear it. I'll tell you what he said later. So in any case, I didn't hear anything he said. So I said, fuck it, and just walked on about my business. And we're ringing up or whatever. And he's behind me. And I see him, and he's a big, tall fucker. And he's looking at me. All mad. So I'm like, I'll eat your soul. I'm skinny and bored. Let's go, motherfucker. Watch out for little fuckers. I'll just put my fucking finger right into your body. It's just like Terminator 2. Just don't fuck with me. I'm wound up. You see the hair? I don't give a shit. So in any case, he looks at me and I'm like, and I didn't know, I had no idea what this man had said to me. So I was like, hey man, take it easy, you know, safety first, be well, all that. Just honestly, I was just being nice. You know, I was like, hey man, take care, be safe, you know, all that, you know, take care of yourself. And he just fucking, I'm like, all right. We get outside and she's like, my lady's like, do you know what he said to you? And I'm like, no. She's like, no. When you said to fucking all that shit about the masks, he said, why don't you mind your own fucking business? And I was like, and my response was to ignore him and then wave and smile and say, be safe. I said, fucking priceless.
Yeah, man. You just like literally like killed them with kindness. Like you really like, you just saying, have a nice day, be safe.
Like I really meant it. I was like, bye, see ya. I never see you again. Bye. And he's just like, oh. My point to that story is none of that shit's happening around here, obviously. It's a fucking conspiracy. Like, yeah. I tell you what, how about the woods get caught on fire? And then we see how you feel about shit. Then you'll be wearing a mask for an entirely different fucking reason. It's just that your guys are dealing with a bunch of shit. And over here, this guy's ready to knock my fucking block off because fuck you, mind your business, buddy. And it's like, fuck you. People have real problems, Stretch. Go fuck yourself.
Well, I mean, yeah, for sure. Like right now where I'm sitting in my bedroom, I'm sitting next to packed bags. Literally, we have packed bags just in case.
Going? I mean, no, certain, like, I know, but
I don't know. Like at first it was her dad's house in Washington, but a lot of that shit's on fire, so it's really hard to tell where to go. You know?
Wouldn't that be ironic if the West had to come to the East just for a little while?
Yeah.
And we all got along for a minute, and it took some sarcasm back to the West Coast, and there's nothing but sand, so it's a big fucking beach for the whole West Coast. Like, that's it now, with some Lincoln logs to play with, and we're all sarcastic. Oh, it'll be great. I can't wait. That's my dream. Come mix it up for a few weeks, and then we'll send you back. Get you some cheesesteaks. It'll be fucking great.
Right. But yeah, we gotta, like, that's how serious it got. Like Portland, Multnomah County never went into any kind of evacuation level, but we were like, they're on fire, they're in level 2, they're on level 1, they're evacuating. We should probably get ready, no matter what the government's like no matter what our mayor, or no matter what they say. We should just be prepared just in case, because we're literally surrounded northeast, west, south of people burning, like towns burning. So we're like, let's just get prepared just in case we do have to leave. So we packed personal, like clothes and shoes, coats, canned food. We pulled out the camping gear. You know, we made sure the cars we were gonna take had jumper cables, first aid kit. You know, I was gonna bring my fucking gun. Well, because think about it.
No, I'm not. I'm just. I'm picturing lots of people with guns.
Oh well, I know. It's Oregon, man. It's fucking Oregon. Like think about it. Like you kind of. That's why I packed it, because I'm like, dude, people are gonna try to evacuate Portland all at once, and there's only one way to go, and
East.
that might not, and that way might be closed. Is north. That's the only way to go.
North.
And that might be fucking
east?
close.
You can't go east because it's all burned.
No, east. Yeah, towards Central Oregon and Eastern Oregon, towards like Bend. Yeah, that all the San Diego 26, all of that shit was closed. 84? They just reopened it. Yeah, the 84. It was all like going over Hood. That was all fucking closed. And I think they reopened it today or yesterday, something like that. But it's open now.
Fires then? Are they going down?
No. I think the wind has stopped, so it's better. So the wind has stopped, and the reason why it was spreading is because the wind.
Yeah.
Embers travel and wind. Like there could be a fire here and a big fucking river in between here and there, but the wind grabs the fire, then that shit's on fire. So, but yeah, that shit just reopened. But the only place that was maybe open and might be closed because there's fires over there is north. It's towards Washington, where my girlfriend's dad and stepmom live, and that's where we were gonna head. Is because that's really because I was like, well, we could go to Bend. There's really no fires over there. There's bad smoke. The air is very hazardous, but there's not a lot of fires. It's just the air's poisonous. That's it. Um, like, so it's like we should try to go there, but then we were like, well, we can't get there because everything, the passes are closed. So basically, we still have. You hear that? That's my backpack. That's a one of the big army size fucking
Yeah, man.
sticks over your head backpack. Like packed with shit, ready to go.
Full of toys, just like Kevin McAllister.
Full of toys. Actually, I got to be honest with you, no toys.
Get the fuck out of here.
No.
Just gonna let it all go, huh?
I'll tell you what I brought. Brought my gun. I brought a bunch of knives because I have some antique knives, some knives that my grandpa gave to me when he passed away. Some like kind of like keepsake,
Yeah.
knives from the family. And then just, I got a fucking Bowie knife, some fucking protection kind of. And, when you got to cut open a cardboard box when you get a Predator toy in the mail and you need to cut open the box, you got a fucking knife, right? So I got those. A tobacco pipe, that was my grandpa's. He left it to me when he died. So I got that. Phone chargers, clothes, toothbrush, and a flask full of tequila. That's my personal bag.
That's like 10 miles from where you live. You'll get to Washington with that.
Yeah, that's my personal. Gotta get the fuck out of here backpack.
Man, I mean, just get one of them fucking dragon boats out of the river.
Right?
I would kind of be like, let's take the fucking river, man. The river ain't on fire. Right. I mean, you get to the ocean.
Yeah.
I think I'd probably pull a Mick Dundee and get on a riverboat with my Bowie knife and some rocks for dinner. And
right. That's not a fire. That's a fire.
That's not a fire. That's a fucking fire.
That's a fire. That's a fucking fire.
Well, that's what's crazy about you guys going through this. What you're going through, your tone hasn't really changed. Your words and your expressions, like this is intense, but this is what we're dealing with. There's no way that people living over here would handle that shit the same fucking way.
Right. Well,
I'll tell you right now, that fucking fire thinks it's coming into my fucking neighborhood. It's got another thing coming. They ain't fucking with the local 420 union. You don't fuck with union people. I don't give a shit if you're a person or a fucking natural disaster. So you go ahead and you talk to the congressman because you ain't bringing no fire up in here. I ain't having that shit. And you'd have people out there yelling at a fire. And then the fire would probably leave. Like, yeah, fuck this. These people deserve to live in hell. Fuck them, I'm out. They wouldn't handle it the same way. There's no way that they're going to be like, meh. Like, I hit my kid up. I'm like, how you doing? And she's like, I'm fine. I think there was smoke, like, literally behind her in the house. And she's like, I'm good.
Yeah.
Probably was pot smoke, whatever. But in any case, she didn't give a shit. It's just funny. Everyone's like, nah, we're probably going to burn alive. And I'm like, God, you have bags packed and shit? And you're like, eh. And I'm like, I'd be gone. I'd be talking to you holding this shit.
Well, you know me, man. You know me for a lot of years now. Like, this is my speed. This is about it. No matter if there's, fucking like tequila, cheeseburgers, and puppies in front of me, or there's a bunch of, an angry fire and diseases and a second civil war going on. I'm just kind of like, yeah, that sucks. We're just gonna keep on going though. Hopefully nothing bad happens. I got blue hair. That's kind of how I am.
Fucking crazy, man.
And I think that's just how I am. I don't think it. Like if Wes went over and lived in the East, like you were saying, even if I lived over there for like 20 years, I think I'd still be the same way. This is just how I'm wired. Kind of just like, fuck it.
Well, it's funny. I've been here for 5 years, and I was born here, and people are like, "Where are you from?" I'm like, "Fuck you talking about?" They're like, "You don't talk like you're from around here." I'm like, Who gives a shit? Just give me my sandwich. Let's go. Like, oh yeah, you're from here. You're from here. Like, yeah, if I tell you to go fuck yourself, now I'm from here. But I'm like, well, where's your accent from? I don't have a fucking accent. Yeah, you
Right.
do. You do. You do. Like, what are we talking about? That's how people talk here. It's always an argument. Like, what do you want to do for dinner? I don't know. What do you want to do? I just fucking asked you, what do you want to do for dinner? I didn't ask for another question. Are you sure you didn't ask for a question? Yeah, I'm sure I didn't ask for a question. Let's ask them if I asked for a question. Like, what the fuck? Like, that's the last time I went to Pizza Hut here. I'm like, I'm not doing this shit. The people in front of us about to get into a fight, you know? And then the woman's like, do you assholes know what you want? He's like, yeah, get pepperoni, green peppers, blah, blah, blah. It's like, it just always sounds like there's a fight about to happen. And then really there never is. And I kind of wish
Right.
there was. I think that I want more tussles. If we're going to be revved up and excited about nothing, I'd like to see a few more black guys.
Right.
Just, you know,
You get a couple
not
more.
on me.
Right?
I don't need to get hit. I'm good. Yeah, give me another brain injury. I'm not going to be worth shit. I've been hitting the head too many. All the times I've had many accidents, everyone has been a head trauma.
Right.
Go figure, right?
Huh. Well,
And
I mean,
and here's the other thing too. And I've kind of play on this now because at work I got a new job and I'm the slow one. When I was in kindergarten, my mom told me this later because I wouldn't have understood it then. But she said, your kindergarten teacher told us that you're slow. I'm like, slow how? And she's like, exactly. I'm like, huh? She's like, yeah, you know, you'll. I'm like, I don't know what that means. So at work, I kind of forget I'm the doofus. You know what I mean? Like, hey, you
yeah.
know, how do we upgrade a phone again or whatever? And they're like, oh, was this guy an idiot? And it's funny, like I am kind of an idiot. And I mean, I'm not an idiot, but I don't remember. Here's what I don't remember the dumb shit you're supposed to remember. Like when you go through a
Right.
training and they say, that's what I hear. So I'm like, hey, wait a minute. How do we again? And they're like, fucking idiot, he's slow. Like, listen,
Right.
some corporate shitheel wrote all this crap down while they were on the fucking
Yeah, that's for
clock.
fucking real.
I
Yeah.
don't care. This is stupid. You know what? While you're talking, I'm literally thinking about what I would look like in your dress. I'm not slow. I'm just using my imagination because you're fucking boring. That's why I don't
Right.
remember
Well, yeah.
anything you taught me.
Yeah. You're somewhere else because this is mundane and boring. That's how I am too, man. Like when I was really young, like when I was in third or fourth grade, I was in some special classes. You know what I mean? Like special classes. Yeah. You too? Yeah.
Yeah.
You know why? It's because I was picked. Like I was thinking about something else. Like I wasn't care about whatever you were. Like you read a piece of paper and then you say it to me. How about you just teach us how to read? Cut the school off and just go learn this shit or don't like force it down people's throats because then there's going to people that are going to listen, but then there's going to be a lot of people like us that are just going to go, huh, I wonder what candy would taste like if I was on ecstasy. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
like,
What does the Smurf's ass smell like? That's just the
right?
shit that goes through our head. That's so fucking funny, man. I wonder how many comedians had to go to the doctor and then got into the classes. And then the weird thing is like I went to those classes in high school.
Mhm.
It was a little embarrassing. So what happened was I went to high school in England, and then my dad got transferred to North Dakota because the Air Force is amazing and they have really fun duty stations like North Dakota. So in any case, when I was in the beginning of high school, I went there, I was on pills, I was on Ritalin. So the interesting thing about our society is when you're not paying attention, they're like, we'll just give him a fuck ton of downers. He'll pay attention. The only problem is you don't eat anything when you're like that. I ate a can of tuna fish a day for 2 years. So if you want to know why
Right.
I am so sleek and shiny and cute, that's why. I didn't fucking eat for 2 years when I was supposed to. So they put these kids on fucking pills. They put me
Yeah.
on pills. I was on 120 milligrams of fucking Ritalin a day.
Damn.
Still didn't learn anything. All I did was just stared at one thing. And I was like, and then, I did do better in school, but I didn't enjoy the tuna. It wasn't a fun time. So the thing is like, I went to, so I'm in England and they're like, okay, in England, at this high school, you go get your pills from the doctor. This was before pills were being traded. This is the late 90s.
Right.
We didn't know that you could, never mind, but you could do things with those pills. So I would, right after lunch, and keep in mind in high school, you're trying to be somebody fucking cool, man. You know, you're trying to do your thing. So I'm trying to get my shit together and meet ladies and whatnot and, you know, try to listen to the meh, meh, meh. And they'd get on the loudspeaker right after lunch and they call out like a couple of names. Now, of a school out of 1,000 people, calling out 4 fucking names is kind of weird, especially when it happens every fucking day. So it'd be like, ladies and gentlemen, will these 4 people please come down to the nurse's office for their medication? Like, whoa, why don't you just tell everyone we're doped up? What the fuck? And so that's what happened, man. And I went to the, after that, and then after I took my pills, I'd come back to the class, and then they would sit, and everyone would look at me, and I'd be like, woo! And they're like, cool, he's high, wee! And then they would send me to the special room where I could take all the homework and shit that the meh gave me, and then they would translate. They'd be like, okay. And I'd be like, all right, this is what we're, we do it. And then what was cool was when I moved, they had me written down as special ed. Okay? So when I got to North Dakota, they're like, oh, he's in special ed. So they had 4 floors on this building, this big city building. The school was in the downtown in North Dakota. And I had one, I know where I was, it had a letter B on it. So I'm like, hey, excuse me, I'm new here. Where do I go to this B? They're like, oh, bro. Kid A, man, what's up? They talk backwards there. Oh, Kid A, whoa, bro, oh, you're going to the basement. And I'm like, the fuck's in the basement? They're like, all the idiots are in the basement. And I'm like, no, my people. Cool. I go down there, and it's not a learning disability center. It's for those people who get to leave early and come in late, ride the bus, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And
sure.
I was just like, I brought my shit in. I sat down. I started doing my work. And they're like, so what are you in here? What are you all about? And I'm like, I'm just doing my homework, man, just like I'm supposed to. I'll ask if I have questions. And they're like, is there anything wrong with you? And I'm like, yeah, I have a hard time paying attention. And they're like, then the one chick looks around. She's like, yeah, but is there anything wrong with you? And I was like, I don't know. They sent me here, and here I am,
Yeah.
And so I started making friends with these guys because they left me down there for like 6 months, man. So I'm new at school. No one knows me. I'm a 10th grader. And I'm knuckling all the people in wheelchairs and shit. And like everyone with the disorder. This one kid's like, he's a really good wrestler, but he's got some stuff going on upstairs. And everyone's like, how the fuck do you know this guy? Like, who are you? And why are you friends with him? And I'm like, we're in the same class. And they're like, what? Because I started meeting people. I'm like, yeah, man, I go to the basement like for half the day. And they're like, fuck's wrong with you? And I'm like, I don't know, maybe. I don't know, man. Is something wrong with me?
I don't know.
So wrap all this shit up. They finally figured out. How ironic. The people who teach these programs were so slow, they didn't realize that I wasn't that slow. Or more importantly, that I could get my spoon to my mouth without any help. So I didn't need to be down there. So then they fucking get me in this class, and it's all the idiots, like the morons, the one that's snorting coke off the grandma's celebrity's dashboard and then coming into class. The people who aren't going to fucking graduate. Those are the people that I was supposed to be with the whole time. Just the morons that aren't taking their pills and shit. So I get down there, and this is how I graduated. My senior year, this is how we all graduated. We would take the test. Whatever the hardest course was that you had, you put that at the end of your day. Here's why. You would take the test down to the learning center, which was actually in the basement. There's 2 floors to the basement. This is where like if you went to the basement, you probably are going to be a janitor, just like the janitors that are down there. And I did become a janitor. I'm actually really good at being a janitor. So it's ironic. I love the smell of Comet.
Yeah, it's good if you get it right up there. Good smell.
Woo! So what we did was I had economics in the last class today. I didn't learn anything. He gave me the test, and I would just be like, okay, bye. And I would go down to the basement, and I'd be like, hey, man, I'm here. And I'd be like, hey, Tony's here. Like, hey, look, Timmy just got out of jail. Far out. Way to go, Timmy. And they'd be like, and I'd open up the test, and I'd be like, okay, let us know if you need help. And I'd be like, I need help. Like before I even wrote my name on the fucking paper. Long
Right.
story short, this is how it went down there in the Learning Center. Okay, let me read the first question to you, Tony. Now, it says that this happened on this date. Now, what happened after that, Tony? I don't know. Well, now let's think for a second. Okay. I don't know. Like, okay, well, we should probably go ahead and use a guide. They had a copy of the fucking test with all the answers in it. And we would just sit there. And like, I would be, and once there was only 5 minutes left, I would just be like, that's great, Becky. We better get to the back sheet. Come on. ABC, abacadabra, down the fucking line. Here we go. That's it. We all did that. And no shit, I photocopied my what is that thing you get when you graduate?
Diploma?
Yeah, the toilet paper. So I took the toilet paper and I went and I fucking gave it to her. I was like, and she's like, what's this? And I'm like, it's your diploma. And she's like, it's got your name on it. I was like, it's your fucking diploma. I was like, I didn't do anything.
you had the fucking answers. It was your shit. Congratulations.
She's like, so what are you gonna do with your life? And I was like, I'm probably gonna get shot for my country, and I have to worry about it. And she's like, well, don't say that. I'm like, no. I joined the Marines. She's like, oh, so you probably are gonna get shot. I was like, yeah, probably.
More than likely.
Great, man. I don't really know what the point of all that was, but I just want to tell you how I went to high school. So you were learning disabled. That was my learning disabled experience. And it turns out that, I'm not that disabled, but pretty disabled.
Right. Well, the reason why I was in those classes in elementary school is because, you know this about me. I had a stutter. And they thought I just couldn't read. But really, I just couldn't talk. And I read, and it all made sense in here until it came out. It was like,
right.
But I knew how to read. It was just, when it came out of my mouth, it just sounded like I didn't. Then I got older, took speech therapy. The stutter mostly went away. It comes out every now and again, like that. Like it
stuttering Stanley.
Like it's not so bad, but now every once in a while, it's just kind of like when you try to start an old 1975 Chevy that hasn't been started in like 2 years, and it's in the middle of the winter. It's every once in a while, certain letters go. Fucking god damn it. Every once in a while. But with that being said, speaking of morons, stuttering, old trucks, and taking pills, it's time to talk about the album that we were supposed to listen to.
That's right.
So I don't know if you noticed it, but we're switching things up. We're saving the music for the last part of the show, so if you don't like the music, you could turn it off now. So we were supposed to listen to an album called Blood Mountain by the band Mastodon. Mastodon is one of my favorite bands. This album came out, they released it in 2006. It was kind of a change in their sound. They used to be a bit heavier. The first two albums they had, Remission and Leviathan. I don't know if you've heard those albums, Tony, but I'm guessing not. They're pretty heavy. They were a real heavy metal band, and this album was kind of a change in their sound. Like it was like a mature, like change in the band, and they were getting older, and their music changed. So with that being said, what'd you think of the album?
So I thought you said at the end of the last show that it was mellow. So, I mean, I took that for my own way. So I figured I would go to the gym and listen to it at 7:00 in the morning. And I put my little earbuds in and all that shit in the car. And it started out really chill. So I'm like opening up my Hydro Flask, getting a drink of water. And it hit, and fucking water just goes right down the front. I'm like, shit. And then it was just like, and I'm like, all right, man, fucking get in the gym. And it kind of looked like I pissed myself. Like, so that was cool.
Right.
So I had that in my head. The album, honestly, it fucking rocked. When it comes to heavy stuff, I work out to it, because if I listen to it here, the cat the cat doesn't appreciate it. We do jazz in here. So in any case, I thought it was fucking awesome. Some of it, we talked about this a little bit. I
Mhm.
thought some of it sounded like some other cats, like Clutch and things like that. But then you had given me a small education on what was really going on. So as
Mhm.
far as the album goes, it fits right in there for me, along with Red Fang and other bands that I'm
Yeah.
into when I want to listen to heavy shit.
Mhm.
Awesome. I really did. I really did like it. The thing is that there's so much of metal that it's cool to know that there's one more thing. Because didn't we get into fucking Mono Lord? I don't.
Yeah. 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 We
Yeah,
listen
I'm
to
just saying.
Monolord.
There's several bands, and it's just nice to have another. I don't know how to explain it, but anyway, there's another fucking tool for my tool belt when it comes to listening to heavy shit. But it wasn't. It
Right.
didn't feel like stoner. It didn't feel very stoner to me or anything like that. It was
Mhm.
like heavier, like these dudes were either revved up or they're not a bunch of, it didn't come off like pothead rock or any of that shit.
No, it's not. It's it has psychedelic elements to it, but it's definitely not stoner metal. If I was going to put it in any category, from this album on, from Blood Mountain to their newest album, whatever it is, um, I would call it prog metal. Like prog rock,
Progressive,
the
right?
term prog rock. Like I relate Mastodon to these bands, and I wrote them down. I relate them to bands like Deep Purple, um, Black Sabbath, Gojira, who we did before, Dream Theater, Meshuggah, and King Crimson.
Oh
And
shit!
if
Wow.
you notice, a lot of those bands are different. Prog rock, prog rock, not real fucking like musicians might get onto me about this, but I would say prog-ish, like prog-ish rock, Deep Purple, early Black Sabbath, and King Crimson. When I say prog rock, I mean it sounds like rock and roll, but it has a lot of organ in it, and it has solos, and you could hear the bass. That's when I mean prog rock is like it sounds a little bit druggy.
Right.
It's kind of like if the Grateful Dead and like a fucking death metal band combined. It's like
Right.
it has this druggy instrumental, like they're really doing a lot of solos, or they're kind of all over the place, but then it has a heavy fucking in the back, like the backbeat of it, the background of it, the bass of it is fucking it's metal, it's heavy metal, it's metal. But so I think those six bands really describe it. Dream Theater, prog rock, but metal.
Right.
It has a proggy, you know, early Black Sabbath, King Crimson, Deep Purple, Gojira, and Meshuggah. That's how I would describe Mastodon,
Hmm.
especially this album in particular. It's got a lot of solos. It's fast. It's slow. There's a lot of organ. There's some gong. They have a lot of gong. They use a lot of gong in it. They have like some parts where they just hit a fucking gong.
Right.
And what's cool about Mastodon is every album is is a little bit of a theme, but it's a theme in their own way. Like like it's hard to kind of pinpoint what the theme is in Blood Mountain. I know it's like Blood Mountain is like they're going on a quest to the top of the mountain. They're looking like there's a lyric in one of the songs. I think it's Crystal Skull, where they're talking about like I'm searching for crystal, like, and they're going on an adventure. It's like a quest on top
Right.
to the mountain. Their first album, Remission, that was a very like I think it's Remission. One of their first albums. It's like based on the book Moby Dick, and that's the theme of the fucking album.
Right.
Um, the album after Blood Mountain, Crack the Sky. The theme of that mostly is about the drummer's younger sister committed suicide when she was really young, and her name was Sky. And that's the whole theme of the whole album is cracking the sky.
Right.
And that's a lot of the album is about that. So That's why I think Mastodon's fucking rad, is because they have their own themes, but they're not like bold and in your face theme. You can't be like, oh, that's about trees or that's about popsicles. It's like it kind of takes you on this fucking quest that means something to them. You know, it's like it's personal, and then you have to fucking figure it out by listening to it.
Well, and that's
So
the hard part with a lot of music when you don't listen to pop, especially when you listen to pop and you're used to having music just catered for that shit, the mainstream shit.
right,
You start listening to stuff like this, like you never heard before. You're like, what the hell are they talking about? And
right,
that's why I've gotten interested in a lot of different music. I go for sound. I'm a moody son of a bitch. So I go for, this is my mood. This is where I'm at right now. So now when I'm in that mood, I'm going to listen to Mastodon again, or I'm going to listen to
right,
this or some other, I mean, I'm all over anyone will tell you whenever I recommend music, or if you're in my fucking car, I'm all over the place. But I like a bunch of shit. And Mastodon has been on the radar for a long time. And what I think is really neat, what is just what you were talking about, is how they write, like not just Mastodon, but a lot of bands, how they write albums. Like maybe not just a song, maybe like we're going to do an album and we're going to do it about this. Now it's up to the person to listen to it and figure all that out. But that's their project. That was their plan. Versus other people just cut a song or cut 3 songs and then they go to their producer and say, I need 10 more, whatever.
right.
I know how many fucking artists have you heard say, we're surprised that's our #1 hit. That song doesn't even mean
Right.
anything. And you're like, what do you mean it doesn't mean anything? Everyone loves that song. Kitty has a song that was their first hit. Excuse me. In any case, their first hit. And it was like, yeah, we made all that up when we were 17. It's cool that we have to sing it all the time, but we never thought we would. That's something I was just thinking about. So a band like Mastodon doesn't seem like a band that's like, we were surprised. It's like, no, we knew what the fuck we were doing. It was on purpose.
Right.
But when you listen to it, you wouldn't necessarily know that unless you're going to dig in and figure that out.
Right. Yeah.
All these
I
bands,
agree, yes.
you think they're all just doing crack, drinking beer, and singing. Who knows what the fuck they're singing about? It's heavy when you're like, no, this album is actually based upon what fucking Ozzy Osbourne got into Aleister Crowley. Like you start reading this shit and you're like, huh. So if I work backwards and I realize that these musicians read these books, and I used to read the books that they read. I used to get into that. I'd be like, Ozzy was really into Aleister Crowley, so I started looking into him. I love music that way, so I like to know what the musicians are thinking when they do it, if that makes sense.
Right. Yeah.
So that's why I dig bands like this that are like, they're these guys aren't young anymore. Not that they're not. They're not 20 years old.
They've been a band for 20 years.
Exactly. So they're mid-age.
They formed in, yeah.
So if they're playing fucking music, they need a reason. They need something to do behind it. And that's why I like it, because when you hear an album like that, there wasn't anything on the album that sounded out of place. I burned through the whole thing. There's a couple of peaks where I was like, I would go down at my phone and try to remember the name of the song, or I would favorite it or whatever. But it was an album to its completion. You could just and let it rip. I didn't skip anything or any of that shit. I usually don't. With the albums that you suggest.
Right.
So my point is that that's a good full album, and it's neat to know where the shit came from. Like I've always wondered. I like Tool a lot, and I've always wondered where the fuck they're coming from. But usually it's actually a lot of uplifting spiritual shit that Maynard's preaching. You just have to realize what they're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, they're unique in a lot of ways. Like Mastodon is like how like most bands will have like, oh, that's the lead singer, that's the guitar player, that bass player does some backup vocals. Mastodon kind of does a thing where all of them, like if you go to their Wikipedia page, and I already knew this before I went there, but if you go there, it says whatever his name is plays lead guitar and vocals. Whatever his name is plays bass and vocals. Whatever his name is plays drums and vocals. And then whatever his name is plays rhythm guitar, and backup vocals. So all of them, besides one, is the lead singer, and all of them do sing. So that's kind of unique to them. Like I know this for a fact, because if you listen to each song, some of the vocals sound different.
Yeah.
Like I listened to like the making of this album, Blood Mountain, and a lot of it was like, you sound better when you sing that. So maybe I sing the most and people might look at me as a lead singer, but I'm not. You sound better when you sing that part, so you sing that part. And if you sing that whole song, then you sing that whole song. Or it's like a lot of the drummer, he writes a lot of the music or a lot of the lyrics, so he ends up singing because he's like, I wrote that song, so I'm gonna sing it. You know?
Right.
So they're kind of like, they don't have like a singer. It's kind of like, well, you sound good. You sound better than me singing it, so you should sing it, kind of thing. That's
Right.
how I take it. So, and that's like unique to them. Probably gonna wrap up here in a little bit, but I've seen Mastodon. I saw them in Portland 6-7 years ago, and Gojira opened for them, and I've seen Gojira now 2 or 3 times, and we've covered Gojira, so there's no need to go into their albums, but they put on an amazing fucking show. It's fucking incredible. I know I talked about it on the show before. They're like jumping everywhere. They're like, they're French. I don't know why that matters, but it did to me. They're like jumping around, licking their guitars, fucking twirling their hair. They're like looking at the audience, smiling and being like, yeah, like fucking going nuts, And they put on a great show and sounded awesome. And then Mastodon went on. They kind of had more of a stage show, like smoke, like fog, and like lights, and the lights were dim, and like because their music's kind of dark and proggy,
Right.
But they mainly, what I saw when I watched the whole show, they mainly just stood there and played the hell out of their music. They played this album. I think they mainly did Blood Mountain and Crack in the Sky. They mainly played those 2 albums, and they played Blood Mountain to a T. Like it sounded exactly like you might as well put the album in your ears. It was perfect, So but they were a little boring to watch because they were just kind of standing there.
Yeah.
Which is fine, but it was like, like in comedy, you gotta kind of like maybe you match the energy a little bit. Like Gojira, like fucking was like a fucking heavy metal circus. They were awesome, it was crazy. And then you turn on Mastodon, it was like it was great, but they played their music. They kind of just stood there, which was cool. Sounded fucking amazing, but yeah, I guess if I have any criticism, and I'm nobody, I'm just some fat idiot in his room. I'm fucking nobody. I'm drinking beer, I'm sitting on a fucking ottoman. I'm nobody. So you probably will never hear this, Mastodon, but if you do, just know I'm a fucking idiot. I don't know nothing. But that's the only criticism I have about the band. To me, they're a fucking 99 out of 100. I love Mastodon. I especially love their first 4 albums. So if you didn't listen to Mastodon, go back and listen to it. And listen to the first 4: Remission, Leviathan, Blood Mountain, and Crack in the Sky. Anything after Crack in the Sky isn't there. That's not my shit. People do like it, but it's not my cup of tea. But for me, Mastodon, Blood Mountain, that gets a 99 out of 100 for me.
Fuck yeah, man. No, I dug it, dude. I appreciate it. And just to say, we are music nerds. He likes toys. I like vinyl. I really like this shit. Like, even if I don't listen to the band, I'm always curious about how it works, how they write their music. And then, of course, the live shows are their own thing. I've seen many live shows. I've seen bands that sound exactly like their music. They may have been playing they may have been playing a fucking album. I have no idea. Then I've seen bands that their albums suck ass, and their show is the whole reason that they have fans.
Right. Yeah.
So it's always, you never know what the hell you're going to get. That's the funny part. Like, you're like, the albums are fucking awesome. When you go see them live, they just sit, they play their fucking music. They do their thing, and then they're done. That's it. Their energy is probably in their recording, like that like them making the music. That's the thrill for them versus playing live. Now, Gojira, who is balls to the wall on fucking stage, that's their cup of tea. Plus, you said they're from Europe. People, I don't know what's going on, but in Europe, they fucking always seem to pull out the punches and show Americans usually how it gets done.
Right.
I've always noticed that. I can't think of, I mean, I'm not going to spend all day talking about this shit, but I think it's fun. I like the band. I like those. Mastodon's one of those bands that'll be on the bill for something else I'm going to see. I think I've seen them, but I have to go back and check. I really believe I've seen them, and I rock the fuck out. But when it's a band I don't know, and they're heavy like that, I don't go in the fucking pit because I'm a little guy and I'll get punched, and I'm like, this isn't even my music. I was just looking for the fucking bathroom. I just walked through. It's what's scary to me is going to metal shows and just getting picked up and thrown around because it happens. I look like a victim, so that they turn me into one. So those shows, I'm usually way in the fucking back, having someone stand on my feet because they don't know I exist. So I'm usually looking between someone's earlobes at the band, don't get a good look at them. So I hear the fucking music, and that's it. I've fucking heard Mastodon live, but I do I do like them. They've reminded me of Clutch.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan, but I'm not a big fan of Clutch. So when I heard that voice that sounded like him, I was like, ooh, a better Clutch. Like that's, I mean, I'm not saying that because this is just some guy who doesn't know dick about balls, but still, I fucking liked it. Thanks for sharing it, my friend. Honestly.
Yeah.
You always turn me on. He's turned me on to so many bands. For those of you who already left, you don't have to fucking worry about it. For those of you who hung out, check this shit out. There's two of us. What are we going to do? The four of us will get into music together. We do, anything else, man?
I think we're good. I think it's about the time where you give the homework assignment for next week.
You got it. All right. So today's show was a little heavy. We just wanted to try some things out, move stuff to the back. We ended up talking about what's going on in Portland, out in Oregon, the whole fucking West Coast. We're not trying to make that funny. I wasn't trying to put punchlines in that. I got people in there that I give a shit about. So this episode may have a little heart in it. You're fucking welcome. With that being said, the band that I picked out this week is called Cherry Glazer. That's right. Another band you never fucking heard of. They're amazing. Seriously.
I gotta write that down.
It's a young girl and two dudes, and they destroy. That's all I'm going to tell you, because you got to watch next week, and I'll tell you how I saw them live and some crazy shit that happened. The band is Cherry Glazer. The album, Apocalyptic. That's it. It's got female vocals. You can understand the lyrics. If even your lady might get into it, get a glass of wine for her. I'm sure she'll shake her ass a little bit. Maybe not. Why not, man? I dig. We're gonna talk about this next week, but I dig chicks that fucking shred and get pissed off because they're not slapping me around. They're playing music instead. I like that. All right. I think we said what we're gonna say without me sweating anymore. It's been fun. Alex, fucking take care of yourself, brother. I hope we see you right back in the house with no fucking smoke in your neighborhood next week. All right.
Hopefully not. Yeah.
All right. If you fuckers pray, don't pray for him. He's not religious. All right. Bye.
Yeah, exactly. Bye.